since we have Dominique as our central student this afternoon, again, that's so cool. Dominique, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, where you go to school, maybe what your year in school is, your major.
Okay, can you hear me? Wanna
We
make sure you can
can.
hear me. Okay, all right. So my name is Dominique Sarap. So I'm actually from the Bahamas. So I just recently started at UW South in the spring semester that just passed. I'm actually a second bachelor's degree student. So I already have a bachelor's degree from Johnson and Wales University in baking and pastry and culinary arts. So I've been working as a chef for about the last 6 years. And so now I came back to do food science, and I always like kind of wanted to go that route after doing the hotel thing, and I was like over the hotel situation. So now doing food science, and I'm really interested in product development, and probably because I'm a chef, like I still want to create something, but just not in the same way as doing it for like hotels, for like personal for people, I guess, would be more like for the shelf. So I'm really interested in product development actually. And like I want to create products, and I don't know if I want to create it under my own thing or like for other people, but like I'm really interested in for sure like creating products more so. And so now I have to like venture out of the kitchen and try to figure out like how to navigate into this new world that's like more science and not so much like just being in the kitchen basically. So yeah. So originally I wanted to do a master's, but of course with a culinary degree, so many sciences I didn't have. And so like I'm trying to cover all of that and trying to figure out should I still get a master's after I do this undergrad? Like it's so many things that I don't know.
Well, and maybe our panelists can maybe speak to that for you. Would you like to start off? Do you have any specific questions you'd like to ask the panelists, or we can further explore topics with them?
Um, well, both of them actually worked or work in product development. So I guess I got like the best people to speak to. But with product developing, again, like doing the bachelor's part right now, would it be necessary for me to get a master's to work in product development, or is that something I could do with the bachelor's? Like, what would be your advice with that?
I can go first if you want.
Sure.
I only have a,
Can I
oh,
just stop
go
for
ahead.
just a moment? Dominique, your microphone kind of goes in and out a little bit. So while Katrina is responding, I don't know if you can adjust it a little bit or maybe get a little bit
I'll
closer.
actually, I'm at work, so I'm just going to close the door and just come off the headphones. So just give me a minute.
Okay.
Perfect.
And by the way, Deborah, I'm probably going to need to leave at 3:30 your time.
Okay.
Is it good?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's a lot
yeah.
louder. That's a lot better.
Good.
Perfect. Good. Because I was only hearing about like 3/4, and I was like putting it together, and I was like, I think I've got this.
Okay.
So I only have a bachelor's degree, and I am responsible for product development. So I hope that it's okay to only have a bachelor's degree. We do have people with PhDs and master's degrees on our team, but not everyone does. So
Okay.
a lot of times we think about it in terms of experience. So I worked for several years in different factories and understood the operations side of the business, which helped because then when I went into R&D, even if I didn't have that master's or a PhD, it still helped because I understood very well applications. And at Schreiber, we're not doing too much getting the phenolic compounds and things off like that. It's more application based. So I want you to make me a yogurt. I want you to make me a processed cheese. And so because of that, it worked well. So you don't have to. Now, some companies might require it. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and if I can just build on that and present the opposing view, I guess. You certainly don't need an advanced degree to do product development, but if you are starting straight out of school at Ocean Spray, you'd get only a technician job, and you'd have to really excel to get promoted into a professional leadership type of role. It's not impossible, but it's a long haul. So I always encourage undergrads to go for an advanced degree for two reasons. One, because you'll start out at a higher level and a higher pay scale, which will just build on itself when you get those small raises every year. But also, I found that, and I have a master's degree. I didn't go on for a PhD, but I found that doing a master's degree was the two most growing years of my entire education. And the reason I say that is because in my bachelor's degree, I was taking in information and spitting it back out again on tests. Whereas in my master's degree, I had a research project that I had to figure out what the challenge was, how I was going to design experiments to get answers, and then what I was going to do when I got those answers that weren't necessarily what I thought they might be. And that's the kind of thing you're doing every day in product development, right? Catrina, you're solving problems. And I found personally that getting that master's degree really helped me in my problem solving skills. I just want to make one other point and then definitely jump in. I think that your background, Dominique, of culinary plus science, it is in hot demand in the food industry. We are looking for product developers who have that culinary aspect, but also understand the chemistry of food so that they can make a great tasting product that is commercially viable.
And I would echo what Steve said. So we don't hire people usually with just a bachelor's degree right out of school for product development. In fact, never. They have to have come with additional experience. So for example, I worked in the plants for years before I went to R&D. And so that gave me an understanding of how things work. So, and that's what we normally do if someone has a bachelor's, and they do start out at a lower pay as well, exactly like you said, Steve.
Okay, so that's good advice because I've been like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do, especially like already having one bachelor's and now doing the second one. It's like, do I keep going to school? Like, is it something that's worth it, I guess, in the long run? So it's good to have this and just be me where I can actually like answer all the questions that I kind of need, because then with getting an internship, I shouldn't look for internship for like full-time work, maybe just something more so for experience and then kind of go back and do that master's program then.
Could be like a summer internship perhaps, or.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the internship too, it could be very helpful, and maybe you wouldn't need to go on for a master's if you had some really good internships.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Wow, it's just a lot to think about, like so much to think about. And then you start to feel old.
And right, you've already got a bachelor's degree, so I'm sure you're sick of school and you're saying, when am I going to get out? But if you think about it in terms of you're in your, I don't know, mid-20s, you're going to be working till you're 65. And so that's a lot of years. So if you can hang in there a little longer in school, I think, you'll benefit from it.
Definitely. I like the advice, so thank you for that. Definitely appreciated. Definitely. So another, I guess, question, especially I guess to you, Steve, since you did do your master's, did you focus on product development in your master's, or did you focus on something else when you did your research that was still in the food science? Like, what was your focus?
That's a great question. What happens in a master's program is that you work on a project that your major professor has funding for.
Mm-hmm.
So the professors are always applying for grants to research different things. And I got accepted at UMass Amherst and a few other schools, but I visited UMass and met with 4 different professors that had grants. And one of them was studying oxidation in fats and oils. And I said, I'm not really interested in that. One of them was studying iron in foods and what happens to iron when they fortify different types of foods with it. Is it still bioavailable? And I said, that sounds really interesting. I was a long distance runner at the time and interested in nutrition. And I said, okay, I'll work with you. And so that professor kind of said, here's what you need to study. And so that's what my research was.
Okay.
Product development, you know, I went to school a long time ago. My master's degree in 1980. So product development in school wasn't anywhere near as popular as it is now. A lot of food science programs are understanding that many of their students do go into product development. And whether it's a class, I don't even think there was a product development class when I was in school, but now there are classes and there are all these competitions. So you can get a lot of product development experience, but I doubt there's an actual master's degree in product development.
Okay. So you kind of just work on like what the professor's kind of working on.
Yeah, but you could maybe get your master's in food chemistry or food microbiology or something around that. I don't know of a master's in food and product development either.
Mm-hmm.
You could focus on that, like you could do some work on that, like on those competitions and things like that. Maybe there is one. I don't know of one either.
Okay.
Right. There's also sensory evaluation. That's a very hot field right now as
Yeah.
well. That requires a lot of statistical knowledge.
Steve, I know we only have you for a couple of more minutes before you're having to depart. Could you provide any kind of summary comments about the internship programs that are run at Ocean Spray?
Sure. Yeah. Great question. Thanks. And, you know, when Tony introduced this program, he said it was for Wisconsin companies. And while Ocean Spray has a couple of factories in Wisconsin, our headquarters is in the Boston, Massachusetts area, not too far from where Johnson and Wales is headquartered, in Providence, right?
Right. Yeah.
So we have internships within R&D in all different areas. Right now we have a sensory intern, we have a product development intern, we have a quality assurance intern, we have engineering interns, and we have packaging science interns. I think that's about it. And also, I'll make this point that I'm looking at my other screen because that's an email that my HR person wrote. We post our internships on LinkedIn and also on oceansprayjobs.com. And most of them get posted in about September. And then we're choosing the interns around January or February to start the next summer. So you kind of want to be looking all the time and make sure you get your application in pretty early. There's also something called websites called Simplicity and Handshake and 1220. I'm not familiar with any of those three, but they tell me they use those, and also Indeed.
Okay.
Katrina, are you familiar with some of those? You can
Yes,
build on
I have the exact same email from our HR. So about what?
Too
So
funny.
they have most of those on there. They explained to me Handshake is now when I was in school, they didn't have this. Every school had their own like career services, but now Handshake is one that's used by many or almost all university, I guess.
So it's like the Common App.
Yep.
Wow.
Which is
Cool.
smart because it helps make everything a lot easier. And if you're a student, you don't need to apply maybe to so many. And if you're a employer, you can go there to get the information.
Okay, good. I'll stay on and listen for just a couple minutes longer.
Dominique, does this
Yeah.
prompt any more questions from you, or I can help continue prompting the conversation? That's up to you.
So, okay, one more question actually that from what he said about the internships. So when you apply for an internship, do you apply for the particular area or would you apply and they would put you in a particular area?
That's a great question.
Like for instance, how sensory.
I think that each one would be a separate application because we don't always have a sensory internship every year, and we don't always have. So the different departments get assigned whether they're going to have one or not, and then they write a job posting for what they're looking for.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. And is there like a time frame for an internship at a particular company? Like I know some ones will say like the internship is a 6-month internship. So like would it be like 3-month internships, 6-month internships? Like how would that be as well?
I think that at Ocean Spray, most of them are summer internships, but
Okay.
we do in the packaging area, a lot of the schools are have co-ops, they call them, and that's more of a 6 months. So I'm sure that if you could get a 6 month, if you could free yourself up for 6 months, we would consider that. But most
Okay.
of them are summer internships.
Okay. Okay. Can't think of anything else off the top right now.
That's okay.
Okay, I'm gonna say goodbye. I wish you the best of luck, Dominique, and
Thank you.
very nice to meet you. And
Yeah,
Deborah,
You
you too.
and you know what? Deborah, you have my email address, right?
If I don't have it readily, I know I can get it from Tony.
If Dominique wants to contact me and set up a time to talk some more, I'm happy to do that.
Thank you.
I'll help make those connections. Thanks, Steve. We
All
appreciate your
right.
time today.
Nice
Bye.
to
Thank
meet you.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye. And so I can answer some of those questions for you about Schreiber as well. So that we hire between 60 and 80 interns every single year. And those could be here in Green Bay, or they could be at one of our plant locations. We actually have 40 locations around the world. We don't have one in the Bahamas, but I think they should get one. And so actually I was living for the past 7 years in Europe, working in our locations in Europe. And we have let's say a European home office in Madrid. And I just moved back with my family last October, back to the United States. So we have locations all around the world. So Mexico, Brazil, the United States has many. And then Spain, we have several in Spain, Portugal. We have some in Czech Republic, France, building one in the UK, South Africa. So South Africa is a joint venture, but many locations around the world. And the company was founded, like I said, in Green Bay. And the different types of internships we offer can be engineering, R&D, at our corporate lab, which is here in Green Bay as well. And as far as co-ops or about the time limit of internships, we always have year-round interns in R&D. Now, the hard thing about that for a student like you that's going to Stout is you wouldn't be able to come visit us every day or 3 times a week. We work with the students. So generally they're from here at UWGB or perhaps UW Oshkosh or where they could travel. But we would consider a co-op if a student wanted to do a year-round internship or a 9-month internship. We would consider it co-op in R&D. Our engineering teams do co-ops, both in the packaging engineering and in other engineering. And I think that's because of the way the engineering schools work. They actually have it built into the schedule of the student that they should do a co-op. So if a food science student wanted to do a co-op, we are totally open to it. Part of the issue is it seems that the way the class structure works, for a student in food science to take 6 months or 9 months or a whole year off puts them a year behind in school. And then, so it kind of depends on the school. And in the past, we had an intern from Stout over the summer, and we do have summer internships as well. That was like 10 years ago, but we had an intern from Stout some years ago. Right now, we have an opening for an intern, a year-round intern that can start at any time. And then also in December of this year, we'll have an intern opening for a year-round intern as well. We always have them for the summer, and the lab has internships as well.
Okay.
Lots of I don't know what the right word is, intern positions open or coming open, and we're interested, and we like to have interns. Of course, they're paid, and the place that you can go, we also have Handshake, and also Indeed, LinkedIn, Careers in Food, a lot of those different websites where you can find our positions. And you can go to schreiberfoods.com, www.schreiberfoods.com. Let me make sure I said that right. But then you can apply for specific internships there. You can also contact me and I'd be able to help you out there.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
So can you be an intern overseas?
So in Europe, we have interns in Europe. And so every year in Europe, we also have interns. We don't tend to send an intern from the United States to Europe because of the visa requirements that are there. So the cost is quite high, but we do have interns from Spain and from universities in those European countries that are working as interns for sure.
So that's actually a good question that you asked because, like, for instance, with me being from the Bahamas, my visa restrictions are different, obviously, from an American student. Like, I could go to Europe or Spain without like those visa issues. Like, I don't have to have a visa to go there because of my country. So would that even be something that is an option for me being from the Bahamas? Because my visa restrictions here are actually more strict than in like
So
some other countries.
is the Bahamas considered a European country?
So we're a Commonwealth country now. We used to be a like full country. So now we're considered Commonwealth. So like I don't know if that
You
would
have a
change.
UK passport then, or it's like specific to the Bahamas?
It's a specific to the Bahamas passport, but I know we don't need visas to travel there.
No,
So
you
like
don't need a visa to travel, but to work, you have to
to
have.
work. Okay.
And previously until Brexit, people from the UK, or if you may have been able to do that with that Commonwealth as well, but because of Brexit, people from the UK are considered third country, just like Americans are. So in Europe, in order to go in, it's like by the time you arrived, like the visa would be, it's very difficult because you have to prove that there isn't anyone in Europe that could take the
Could
job.
take the job.
And
Right.
when there's universities all over, around where we have plants there, then it makes it difficult. I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I'm just saying, letting you know, I don't think it's a super high probability. But
Okay.
but we do have internships available in Green Bay, which isn't too far from Stout. I mean, for a summer internship or if
Yeah, just a small relocation. Yeah.
Yeah, and we help pay for the relocation, also helping with the housing for interns over the summer, as well as we pay, I think it's a pretty good salary, at least our interns tell me. We have those couple of year-round interns who are always here, so pay it
Yeah.
as well for the students.
All right, that's good because now like hearing about like probably might be good to start looking into a master's program and stuff like that too. So maybe I could do an internship before like starting into that program and stuff like
sure.
that,
Mhm.
So it's just a lot of things now to think about because I've been sitting on like, okay, I feel like I'm behind because I'm that person, like I'm always like 500 steps in the future. And my mom's like, could you live for like this week maybe? Like, why are you 3 years in advance? I'm like, just trying to make sure like everything's organized. So I'm that person that's like internships 2 years before it's even time for internships. So I feel behind now because this is a second bachelor's. I don't have as many classes to do now. So I'm just like, oh, there's so much to do, so little time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
perfect. So if you think that there's an interest in a year-round, like in a co-op, we can get something like that set up. Like I said, I'd approached some other universities and they said, co-ops with food science is too hard because, I don't know, principles of dairy science is only offered every second year on
Yeah. Yeah.
so it made it difficult because you'd miss that class. So
Yeah, that is true. Definitely. Like, oh, it's over every other spring or one. Yeah, because it is a smaller program. So definitely makes sense.
And some students, we do have an intern right now that's just here for the summer, but she is in between her master's and her PhD. So she's coming for her in between that time. And we know she's going to be leaving to finish her PhD at Madison, but she's coming and working with us over the summer. So we do stuff like that too.
Okay, thank you. It's definitely some good information. I'm at work. I work in the advisement center. So I just like came. Yeah, I came over to the conference room. I was like, I'll answer the phone if it rings from over here. So I could make sure like I was able to at least try to attend this session. Definitely. Yes.
Cool. Well, it was nice to meet you too. And like I said, if you have interest, I think you should be able to get like a contact info, or we can give it to you and you can contact us if you have an interest, or if you have any friends that you know at Stout that are interested. Like I said, we had an intern from Stout several years ago.
Yeah, and I actually have a classmate. She's like super into dairy. She only wants to work with dairy, and so I will definitely
Is she
tell
from
her.
Wisconsin? Because people
Yeah,
from Wisconsin love dairy. So
yeah, she's definitely from Wisconsin. She loves all things dairy. She's like, I just
Perfect.
want to work in dairy. Like, that's all. I just want to work anywhere with dairy.
Yeah, and people actually, I'm not trying to like brag, but people don't know that Schreiber is one of the biggest 20 dairy companies in the world because they don't like talk about it very much. And people in Green Bay don't even know that. They think, oh yeah, Schreiber, but it's actually a really, really big company. So
Yeah, it sounds so, especially like being everywhere. It's like, wow, it's everywhere. Yeah.
it is everywhere. Not the Bahamas though. I wish we had something. But you don't probably have a lot of cows, I'd guess, because then it's on an island. Like we have a factory in Tenerife, which is an island, and they don't have a lot of cows there because there's not enough space. And so they actually make the yogurt and cheese with powdered milk, and they mix it with water. So
Oh,
yeah,
oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah, we have cows, but not that many. So, I mean, we do have some cows. So it can work out. Definitely. We have the space. It's a lot of islands that don't have anything on it. So,
You could put cows on those islands, yeah.
right. All right. It was great to meet you.
Me too. Too. Thank you, Deborah, as well.
All right,
So
thank you.
Thank you.